Hey team, Yasin here, and in this training, we're going to be talking about an extension to problem number 3, which is the false belief of reality. But in this extension, we're specifically going to be talking about the false belief of reality when applied to money. Now, from the very beginning, what you have to understand is that this training actually used to be a part of the main problem number 3 training. And what ended up happening was that we ended up getting so much feedback that this training was so valuable that we ended up making up its own training by itself, okay? Because what's going to happen is that being and becoming aware of your conditioning and programmed beliefs, which you should know about now after going through the main problem number 3 training, once you become more cognizant of your beliefs around money, it's going to be absolutely critical to your success. Because the truth is that until you shift your beliefs around money, it's literally going to be impossible for you to be able to get any more of it. And so until you identify these blocks and these beliefs that you have around money, they're going to continue to hold you back. They're going to continue to make you struggle. And you're going to struggle really to be able to not only make money, but also learn how to keep money. You're going to struggle to invest money. You're going to struggle to spend money. And all of those happen because of the fact that you have certain beliefs around money. Now, I'm using the word you a lot here, but the truth is that it's not something that is specific to you who's listening to me right now. The truth is that anyone who was raised up in society, which is pretty much everyone, has been programmed with these certain beliefs that are holding all of us back. Now, all of our beliefs about money are going to be different. However, nonetheless, we all have these beliefs about money because at the end of the day, having beliefs is just a part of how the brain works, right? And so we learned that in problem number 3. And so what we got to do is we really have to start to identify what these beliefs are so we can start to actually break them down, okay? And so, like I said, all of us have certain conditioning from our childhood, especially around money, that can affect us, and oftentimes they do block us from being able to acquire the money that we would love to have. Just to give you an example of my own story and kind of the beliefs and that I was raised with and how they held me back, was growing up, I was raised, me specifically, in an Indian family, right? And so for me, it was imprinted on me that spending money was just something that we don't do. Right? It was all about hoarding the money in case of emergency. What emergency would there ever be? Nobody knows, but the emergency is coming. And so even if we could afford something growing up, we would end up feeling bad for purchasing something because there was just a lot of judgment that spending money was really looked down upon. And so what that did was that it conditioned me and it programmed into me certain beliefs around being able to, yes, maybe acquire the money, but then I just wasn't able to spend the money, right? And so that really affected me for decades into my adulthood. Like literally what we would say was rich people are lazy, right? They don't like to work hard. We like to work hard. And so we're not like that. And so my beliefs around money held me back from really being able to make more because I had these beliefs around money, around rich people. And so why would my mind allow me to become rich when I believe that rich people were lazy, entitled, greedy, selfish? My mind literally would just not allow me to be able to acquire that level of wealth. And so I had to actually break these beliefs and these conditionings which were on top of me that I had to make sure that if I didn't break them, I wouldn't be able to acquire the wealth that I was looking to acquire. And so this is why it's so important for us to make sure that we go through this training specifically and start to identify what are the programmed and conditioned beliefs that you have within you. And so real quick, before we dive into a couple exercises that are going to allow you to do that, what I want to go ahead and do is I want to go ahead and talk to you about 3 ways that beliefs are conditioned into us, because there are 3 ways that we get imprinted and conditioned with these beliefs. The first one is called verbal conditioning. The second one is called modeling. And the third one is called specific incidents. And I want to talk to you about each of these 3 right now, so that way your eyes can be opened even further regarding how these beliefs are imprinted into us. So the very first one is called verbal conditioning. And verbal conditioning is all about what you hear, right? So you hear around you parents, family members, peers, that kind of stuff, talking about money. And when they talk about money, you're picking up on the associations and beliefs that those people had around money, right? So they might say, hey, money is bad. Rich people are bad, or they're selfish, or, they are a certain way. And so what happens is that these beliefs around money that we so often hear when we're young, they become imprinted on us. And that happens whether we're conscious about it or even if we're not conscious about it. And those start to impact us to the very day that you are growing up. And those beliefs affect us literally to this very day. The second way that beliefs are programmed into us is through modeling. And modeling is all about what we see and modeling those behaviors. And so what ends up happening is that we subconsciously will model behaviors, especially when we're young, of those that are around us, right? Especially of those people who are in authority figures. And so our parents, our siblings, our friends, our teachers, our role models. And so the way that they used to behave and act, especially around money, what that does is it gets imprinted on us just through osmosis, just being in that environment and then being able to start modeling that. That is how we start to get a ton of our beliefs and our programming around money as well. And then finally, we have the third way that beliefs are programmed into us, which is specific incidents. And specific incidents is all about a specific event or situation that happens and that really sticks with us and that really imprints us. And so maybe an example of that would be maybe when you were a kid, right? You ended up spending money on something that your parents didn't approve of, and then they ended up getting angry. They might have yelled at you, they might have judged you, they made you feel bad, they might have punished you in some way. And so those specific incidences really imprint on us some huge amount of beliefs and huge amounts of programming that stays with us for so long, right? And so a lot of times these specific incidences, they create an association that can affect us 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, and that's why they're so powerful. Now, real quick, what I want to talk to you about is with everything that we've just learned about the three ways that beliefs are imprinted, I want to just go ahead and emphasize this because I think it's very important to point out that this means that there is a responsibility of belief that each and every single one of us has, right? It's very important that if you are a parent or if you're a friend of anyone, that you are extremely careful about what you say, right? How you act, especially towards those who look up to you, as well as specific incidences, because when you lash out at someone or you get angry with them or you're mean to them, that can create a negative belief or a negative association that will last the person literally for decades, right? And we've talked about this in the previous training that most people don't even know what beliefs are. Most people don't even know how to identify their beliefs. Most people don't even know how to change their beliefs. And so what ends up happening is that they can literally become enslaved by the beliefs that they have based on what somebody told them 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And they can continue to be enslaved to those beliefs literally for the rest of their life. Because these beliefs control us and influence us in a massive way, right? Like everything we talked about in the main problem number 3 training, literally we see the entire world through the lens of belief. And so depending on how you act accordingly based off of how money is, based off of how the associations you make to your children, that affects them massively. And so you want to make sure that the beliefs that you are passing on through the generations is beliefs that are empowering, not beliefs that are disempowering. Now, with that being said, I want to go ahead and touch on specifically when we talk about money beliefs, right? And uncovering your money beliefs, because we're literally just right now about to hop into a couple exercises that are going to help you with your money beliefs. But what I want to emphasize here before we do that is specifically what sort of limitations do your beliefs around money start to impose upon you, okay? Because what we learned, as we learned in the previous training, right? Beliefs shape our entire world. And so my question to you is, what are the chances that you are going to actually be able to get money if you believe that money is bad, if you believe that money is a test, if you believe that money changes you, right? What are the chances that you're going to be able to be rich if you believe that rich people are bad and selfish, right? The answer to that is 0%. And so becoming conscious of what beliefs that we have around money is absolutely critical before we start the process of trying to make money. Because remember, at the end of the day, beliefs are not good or bad, right? We talked about that in the previous training. They're only empowering or disempowering, okay? And so you can have literally beliefs about anything. It's literally how the brain works. But the truth is, belief around money, it's not good or bad, right? Is money good or bad? The answer to that question is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which one of those is true, because what matters is which of those beliefs that you have is empowering you and serving you to get to the goal that you're trying to get to. Because like we talked about in the previous training, you can literally find evidence to back up any belief whatsoever. And that was a function of confirmation bias and the reticular activating system, right? The RAS. We talked about that in the last training. And so the question is whether or not the belief that you have around money is empowering you or disempowering you towards your goal, right? And obviously, if you're inside of this program, then you're looking at money, you're looking to make money. And so having beliefs around being able to make money is going to be absolutely critical for you. So any belief that does not help you make money is going to disempower you. right? It's going to be something that is limiting to you and one that does not serve you. And so what we need to do is we need to identify those beliefs that are limiting you, those limiting beliefs, those disempowering beliefs. We have to make sure that we identify those limiting beliefs, because until we shift those beliefs, you will literally be unable to actually make any money. It's literally going to be a block that is going to hold you back, okay? This is the power of beliefs, just like we spoke about in the previous training. It's so extremely powerful, okay? Because that which you believe about money will be true for you. Because if you believe that money is tough to make, then for you, it will be. If you believe that money is abundant, then it will be for you. If we believe that, rich people are selfish and greedy, then rich people will be selfish and greedy. That will be true for you. And so because of the RAS, like we talked about, in our brain, we will find confirmation for whatever belief that we have about life. And so with the RAS, whatever you are looking for, you will find it. And so this is really why it's so critical to make sure that we are identifying those beliefs ahead of time. And any training, any education program, any coach that you go to that does not talk to you about this, if you are unaware of it, I'm telling you right now, you're not going to be able to get the results that they're promising you, because this is so absolutely critical for the precursor and the prerequisite before you actually make the money. And just to really hit this home before we jump into the activities here, I want to go ahead and give you an example that's really going to make sure that we solidify this in your mind, okay? So an example of this would be, what if I told you, as you're listening to me inside of this training right now, what if I told you that one day, yes, you can earn $100,000 every single month, okay? Not every year, every month. I want you to evaluate, right? Ask yourself that question right now. I want you to evaluate your response, your brain's response to being able to make $100,000 every single month. What is your brain's response to that? Do you believe that that is something that you could do? Okay, if that's a yes, then great, right? Then you're on your way there. But if not, I want you to ask yourself, why don't you believe that you could do it, right? You need to evaluate and observe and identify your brain's response and answer to that question. Because in the answer to that question, it's going to give you the data that you need in order to figure out why you don't believe that you can get there. Because these are the barriers and the blocks that the brain puts in our way. And those barriers and blocks are what create our reality. They're what make up the reality for ourselves. And so these barriers and obstacles that our minds put in front of us, they literally stop us from even trying to get the things that we want to get, right? Maybe you want to have $100,000 every single month. Maybe that's a goal that you have, but literally your brain is putting that obstacle in its way because it doesn't believe that it's possible. So the thing is that we have to identify these, because if we let these obstacles stop us, we will not be able to make progress to where we want to go. And so let's go ahead and take some time to identify these together. And the critical quote that I talked to you about last training as well is, it does not matter what is true, only what you believe is true, because with work, it will also become true. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into some of these exercises right now. So the very first exercise that we're going to go ahead and dive into together is going to be called the money beliefs inventory exercise. Now, what this exercise is going to do, it's going to ask you some very open-ended questions, okay? It's going to ask you things like, okay, money is, and then it's going to have a blank, and then your job is to just fill in the blank as much as possible, okay? So it's going to ask you some open-ended questions, and this beliefs inventory exercise, it's going to allow you the opportunity to identify your core beliefs around money and wealth, okay? Like we already talked about, this is an absolute prerequisite for creating an income, okay? Most programs, they go directly to the tactics about making money without really laying this critical groundwork. And then therefore, if you don't lay this critical groundwork, it's going to be impossible for you to be able to change who you are and your identity around money, okay? So this activity is going to allow you to start to identify some of those blockages that would prevent you from becoming the person who can make the income that you desire. Because if you remember from the misguided focus of transformation, and where we talked about, it's all about starting with the being, and then the doing becomes effortless, and then you automatically have the having, right? And so we have to be able to identify, okay, what is up with the being? What is the identity portion of this? And then a lot of the other things start to become a lot more clear. So without further ado, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and cut to a mini training right now that is going to further show you the instructions for the money beliefs inventory exercise. And then we'll go ahead and come back to this main training. All right, welcome to the mini training about the money beliefs inventory exercise. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to go ahead and emphasize that you are going to need to actually make your own copy of this inventory document. And how you're going to do that is you're going to go over to File, and then you're going to click on Make a Copy, and then it is going to go ahead and give you the option to save that inside of your Google Drive. So I'm just emphasizing right now, you will not be able to edit this template, so don't request access to this template. We can't have hundreds of students trying to edit the same template. You will have to make your own copy of this template from the very beginning. Okay, so that's first off. Second off, how do you actually do this money beliefs inventory exercise? So what you're going to basically do is you are going to go ahead and fill in the blank with as many phrases, words, or descriptions that come to mind. Okay, so you can see the first question on here is money is. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go in here and you can either print this out or you can do it online in Google Docs. And you're going to just go ahead and take 5 to 10 minutes on each of these questions and really, really dig deep and come up with as many descriptions of money that you can come up with when you hear money is, right? Money is fill in the blank. Money is fill in the blank. Money is fill in the blank. And really dig deep. And the advice that I got when I did these activities back in the day, as well as the advice that I still get whenever I brainstorm and the advice that I give others, is that sometimes, the first 4 or 5 are going to come up quick. They're going to be like boom, 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 boom. And then you hit this wall. And then once you start sticking with that wall, you really start digging deep. It might take you another 5-10 minutes, right? You really think, okay, money is. Stick with it. And then all of a sudden you're going to realize, boom, the floodgates open to you. And then you're going to start to get into the deeper beliefs that you have around money. Okay, so come up with as many as you can, really dig deep, come up with at least 5 to 10 minimum. Okay, and really take this time to spend doing this properly, because it really is the prerequisite for being able to make the income that you desire. And honestly, really, this is very important as well. Be honest with yourself, right? Don't try to do this activity based on what you think it should be, or based on what you think you should have the money beliefs of. Don't have that, right? Don't think about it that way. Think about it in the sense of, what do I actually believe, right? And so fill in the blanks based on what you truly believe and what you truly think of on a daily basis, okay? The second one on here is going to be about wealth. So wealth is, and then again, same thing. Spend 15, 20, 30 minutes on this one question alone, right? Come up with 5 to 10 minimum. Wealth is what? Okay, fill that in. Next one on here, rich people are. And then just go ahead and fill in rich people are what? Rich people are what? Rich people are what? Are they generous, selfish, greedy? Like, what do you truly believe? Don't even take the examples. I was trying to bite my tongue and not give you guys any examples because I don't want to bias you towards any of this. Really start to think, what do you truly believe about rich people? Okay. And then the key thing here is that whatever you fill in the blanks of, that is what your belief about that specific topic is, okay? The fourth one on here is the reasons that I can't or may not become extremely wealthy are. And really start to dig deep. Okay, what are the reasons that I think deep down, some of the reasons that I might not become extremely wealthy, $100,000 a month wealthy, $1 million plus a year wealthy? What are the reasons that I may or may not become extremely wealthy, okay? The next one after that is all about some of the possible negatives of being rich or going through the process of trying to get rich are, right? What are some of the possible negatives that you believe being rich or going through the process of trying to be rich are? What are some of those negatives that you think? Okay, that one's that. And then finally, the last one on here says, my greatest worries and fears regarding money and wealth are fill in the blank. What are some of the biggest worries and fears that you have when it comes to having money and wealth? Again, these are all of the beliefs that are being listed. Again, spend 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes on each one of these. And make sure that you don't rush through it. Make sure you actually take the time to have minimum 5, 10, 15, 20. The more you're able to do and fill in these with more beliefs, the deeper you're going to be able to go. So if you really stick with it, it can really be absolutely transformational for you. Okay, so this is the money beliefs inventory exercise. Make sure you go to File, make a copy, and save it from there, and then jump right in. I will see you on the next one as we jump back into the main training right now. All right, welcome back from the Money Beliefs Inventory Exercise mini training. So it's going to be very important for you to make sure that you do take the time to do that. It is going to be a part of your action steps inside of this training. So the second training that we're going to go ahead and dive into is called the Money Beliefs questionnaire. Now, the money beliefs questionnaire is basically going to have some statements in which you're going to go ahead and respond whether or not you agree or disagree with these statements. Okay, so this activity is going to allow you to further identify which beliefs are serving you and which ones are not. Now, there is a rubric, there is a way to answer and grade this questionnaire. And the answer to this questionnaire is actually going to be right below. I'm not even going to show it right now because I don't want to show exactly how this is going to be graded. But in order to find out the rubric, in order to grade this questionnaire, you are going to have to go ahead and open up this guide. The notes for this training are going to be located inside of the training portal, inside of the classroom. And you're going to go in there and you're going to go ahead and open up this guide. And then right underneath this section, there's going to be a answer rubric for the questionnaire, okay? And then with that being said, I am going to go ahead and hop over to the mini training that is going to go ahead and talk about the money beliefs questionnaire exercise right now. All right, welcome to the mini training about the money beliefs questionnaire. So just like the previous activity and just like all of the resources and activities inside of the program, you want to make sure that you do go over to File and then make a copy and then go ahead and save that copy inside of your Google Drive. You will be unable to edit this template, so please don't send any requests to edit this template. Obviously, we can't have hundreds of students editing the same template, right? And so how are you going to do this questionnaire? So as you can see inside of the instructions, what you're going to do is you're going to rate yourself from 1 to 10 with regarding each of the following statements, okay? So 1 is going to stand for 100% disagree, right? That you don't agree at all. And 10 is going to stand for 100% agree, that you completely agree, okay? So you should complete the questionnaire quickly. You don't want to think too much about it, right? You don't want to think too deeply into it. What you really want to do is you want to go with your gut reaction, your initial reaction, okay? And so what this means for you is going to be revealed at the end, so don't look at the end until you are finished, okay? And so this is actually referring to the instructions that are located inside of the guide, inside of the notes, inside of the main training. And so it's not going to be at the end. I actually moved these to the guide and the grading rubric. And so you want to make sure that you look at the grading rubric notes in order to find out how to grade this questionnaire for yourself. And then we'd love to hear inside of the student community how you did on this as well. Okay, so how you're going to basically do this, you're going to go through all of these statements, right? On here, he continues on the next page as well. There's 47 statements on here, okay? And so you're going to go in and go through every single one of the 47 statements, and you're going to put either a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. Okay, so all the way there, depending on how much you agree and how much you disagree. Okay, so those are the 47 statements on there. Make sure you go ahead and take the time to do it. Don't overthink it. And then remember, the grading rubric is going to be inside of the main training. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and cut back over to the main training right now. All right, welcome back from the Money Beliefs Questionnaire mini training. And that's going to be another very powerful tool for you to make sure that you dive into, so that way you can further identify your beliefs around money. And again, make sure that you do come back to this guide and these notes, because the grading rubric on how to grade that questionnaire is going to be located inside of that guide. And I'm going to go ahead and quickly scroll past it just so you don't see, okay? Real quick, as we close out this training, I want to go ahead and talk to you about questioning our beliefs. This is very important because there's an awesome quote by an author by the name of Orson Scott Card. I love his books. He's a real good fiction writer. And he has a really cool quote that says, "We question all of our beliefs except for those that we really believe in. And those we never think to question at all." And this is so powerful. It's so true, is because the beliefs that we think that we're questioning, those are just the beliefs that we actually don't really believe in, right? The real beliefs that we actually believe in, those are the ones that are just so difficult to question. But this really emphasizes the importance of questioning and introducing doubt into our beliefs, because for many of our beliefs, they're supported by information that we've received from others. And the truth is that we fail to question those beliefs that we received from others at the time. And what ends up happening is our RAS and our confirmation bias gets to work, and it literally just makes it over and over and over and over, finding evidence for those beliefs, and then it becomes reality. But the thing is that if we really look closer and scrutinize our beliefs, we're going to find out that what we unconsciously believed for so many years, we actually find out that it's built on a false set of assumptions. And so The truth is that if you question anything long enough, eventually you will begin to doubt it if you really start to scrutinize it. And so it's very important that we do start to introduce doubt into some of those beliefs that we've unquestioned based off of the false assumptions for so many years, right? And if we start to question their validity, then you can really start to break their hold on you. And remember, the goal isn't to get rid of all beliefs. The goal is to really get rid of beliefs that are disempowering for us, because beliefs can either be empowering or they can be disempowering depending on where we want to go. It's not that all beliefs are bad. You have to have beliefs. It's literally how the brain works. And so what I want to go ahead and do is I want to go ahead and reveal to you some questions that you can use in order to really start to evaluate your beliefs and really start to see which beliefs are empowering you and which beliefs are not empowering you. And so the first question that you can ask yourself once you identify a belief, right, and you can apply this to the beliefs that you have identified from the money exercises, is the first one is, how is this belief ridiculous or absurd? A lot of times we believe things, and because we never question them, we don't realize, like, man, this belief actually doesn't make any logical sense. So that's the first one, right? The second one is, was the person that I learned this belief from worthy of modeling in this area? A lot of times we will get beliefs from people who are not even really worthy of modeling in that area, right? Some people who have beliefs around money, but we got them and they didn't have any money. They were poor people. They were people who were never actually wealthy. And yet we unconsciously modeled them or through verbal conditioning, and we acquired these beliefs and they weren't even qualified really to take beliefs from, right? Some people get beliefs, maybe you got beliefs from an overweight uncle about health and food. Well, maybe he's not worthy of really modeling in this area of life. And so that's the second point is, hey, where did I actually get this belief from? Was that person worth modeling? And this is an advice that I take to everyone is, hey, don't take financial advice from somebody who is not more wealthy than you, right? I only take financial advice from somebody who has more money than I do, period. The third question here is, what is it going to ultimately cost me emotionally if I don't let go of this belief? When you start to identify the pain that belief is costing you emotionally, it's going to be easier for you to be able to let go. What is it costing me in my relationships? What is it costing me physically? What is it costing me financially, right? What is it going to cost my family and my loved ones if I don't let go of this belief? If you don't go out and make the money and the potential that is possible for you, what sorts of opportunity are you sacrificing from your children? Are you withholding from your family that if you were to go out there and have the financial freedom that will allow all of you to be able to live a better life, if you continue to hold on to those disempowering money beliefs, then it's not just you who is being impacted by that. It's literally everyone in your circle. It's every one of your loved ones who is impacted by the fact that you're holding on to this belief. And so when we can start to identify the pain that this belief is costing us inside of our emotions, our relationships, physically, financially, to our loved ones, it becomes so much easier to let go because of the fact that we're attributing holding on to this belief to some sort of pain, okay? And so if you probably spend the time going through these questions and answering them for each of the beliefs that you identified, you will find that the limiting beliefs that you have had are going to be significantly weakened under the scrutiny of these questions. And so that's why I wanted to go ahead and provide you that framework that is going to allow you to be able to start scrutinizing and introducing doubt into some of these beliefs, so that way you can transition them and replace them to those beliefs that are going to serve you and empower you more towards your goals, okay? And so finally, I want to kind of leave off here with the truth about money. Because a lot of times we growing up are given certain beliefs about money without understanding what money actually is. Now, it's very important for me to emphasize that what we're going to be learning about money in this section is actually going to be expanded on more when we get to phase number 2. But for the sake of this training, because we're talking about money, I wanted to give you a quick sneak peek about what money actually is, so that way you have a little bit of ammunition as you start to program yourself with new beliefs around money, okay? Because this is what you need to understand. Money at the end of the day is just a tool. It's just like a hammer, okay? And you can use a hammer to build or destroy, right? It's not the hammer, it's not the money that is good or bad. It's the person holding the money. And a lot of times we don't see it like this is because we got our beliefs from people who were thinking about money in a certain way, right? They said, hey, money is a bad thing. Money changes you. But the truth is that it's just like a hammer. It's just a tool, right? And so the hammer is not corrupt. The hammer is not bad. The hammer is not evil. It's the person that is holding the hammer that can use it to build or destroy, right? All the money does is just bring a magnifying glass to the person. It just expands what the person already is. And so in the same way, money can also be used to build or destroy. Okay. And so that's one very important thing that a lot of people don't understand about money. The second piece of this is that money at the end of the day is just a skill. Making money is just a skill. And people's beliefs about money, a lot of times they think that money is difficult to make. And the reason they think that is because they've been surrounded by people who have always thought that money was difficult to make. But the actual truth here is that making money is a skill, and a skill is literally just defined as you have the right knowledge, and then you just go ahead and take that knowledge and you put it into training and practice, and all of a sudden you can acquire that skill. It's just like riding a bike, okay? And so just like all skills are something that is learnable. It's literally in the definition of what a skill is. It's a learned ability. And so when making money is a skill, it means that you can actually learn it. But this is learnings that our school system doesn't teach us, our parents don't teach us, society doesn't teach us. But that's the beauty of you being inside of this program, is because not only are you going to learn the tactics and the strategies, you're going to learn the principles and the beliefs around what money actually is on the macro scale. So that way it doesn't limit you and you don't have these false beliefs around not only money, but also the process of making money. Finally, it's on here the only way to actually make money. A lot of people have these beliefs that, you know what, when you make money, that means you're stealing from somebody else. That means you're greedy. That means just because you have money, it means that the other person, you have to take it away from them. But the truth is that there is only one actual way to make money, right? And that is by adding value, okay? Because money really is the transfer of value. And unless you're able to add value to someone else's life, even if that value is perceived value, that is actually the only way that you can actually go out and make money. Okay. And so adding value to someone else's life, it means that what you're doing is you're solving a problem for them. And so in the case of employees, why do employees get paid money, right? The reason why employees who have jobs get paid money is because they solve problems for business owners. Conversely, the same thing for business owners. The reason why business owners get money and the reason why they're able to make money is because they're solving problems, adding value for customers. So this is how money is made. It's as simple as that. And so I'm really just giving you the sneak peek, the real, just planting the seeds there for you to really start to be able to program your beliefs around money, okay? Now, another question that a lot of students sometimes ask us is, hey, Yasin, why don't you just tell us a list of all the beliefs that we should have around money? Yes, it's true. I could literally give you like a 50,000 page document of all these different beliefs that you could have about money. But the truth is that that wouldn't get you anywhere. Because what I'm teaching you inside of these trainings is I'm teaching you about beliefs, right? And what it's going to allow you to do, it's going to allow you to go into the world and discover your own beliefs around money. This is the difference between teaching you what to think and teaching you how to think, right? What we want to do is we want to teach you how to think, right? Rather than society and the education system, they always tell you, hey, what to think, right? We're over here at RWA, we're all about being able to teach you how to fish rather than giving you the fish, right? We're teaching you how to learn about beliefs versus giving you what to believe. And so this is why it's so absolutely critical in the process on which we're helping you break your beliefs as well. Now, finally, we're going to talk about your action steps here. As we already touched base on, your two major action steps here are going to be to make sure that you complete the money beliefs inventory exercise in full. It's very important that you do that in full. And then also the money beliefs questionnaire exercise in full. Make sure you remember the grading rubric for how you actually grade this questionnaire is located in these notes. So you will have to come back to these notes as well, okay? Now, the thing I want to emphasize here is it's very important that you take these two action steps in this training extremely seriously, okay? They literally have the power to completely and radically transform your entire financial future, okay? Some students, they're sometimes in a rush. They're in make money now mode. They want to hurry up and rush through these activities, or hey, get me to the tactics. But I'm telling you, if you properly spend the time to do these exercises, they are going to be absolutely transformational for you. And the last note that I'm going to leave off here in the action steps section is that you're going to notice that there is no action step for working on questioning your beliefs. If you remember, we provided those questions that you can answer to start to scrutinize your beliefs. However, I would highly recommend that as an action step, you do take the time. If you want to really go above and beyond, you want to be one of those students who's going to be really successful inside of this program, I would highly recommend that you take the questions that we talked about in the section of questioning your beliefs, and you start to break down each of the core money beliefs that you identified within yourself, right? I'm telling you, if you take the time to do this, it's going to make it so much easier for you to be able to do a lot of the other activities that are later on coming in this module, and it's going to allow you to be able to make so much more of an income and an impact in your life that's ultimately going to allow you to have the freedom that you want in this life as well. Okay, so that is a optional third action step. And I left that optional because I want to see who is going to go above and beyond to really be successful inside of this program. And then finally, we're going to leave you off with your engagement question for this training. So I would love for you to go ahead and let us know inside of the student community. Just go ahead and summarize what you learned, right? What are your thoughts on society's false belief of money, right? What did you learn about yourself from this training? What are 3 disempowering money beliefs that you identified within yourself from this training? And what's one empowering money belief, right? It's not that all the beliefs that you have around money are negative. I'm sure there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe a handful of empowering money beliefs that you find, you know what? This is a belief that is actually serving me to where I want to go. And you have to also keep in mind, at certain parts of our life, certain beliefs are empowering for us based off of the goals that we have, and then certain beliefs are disempowering for us, right? Maybe in some period of your life, hoarding money was an empowering belief that you had, because that was the goal and the target that you had. But then what ends up happening is that as life changes, that belief about hoarding money ends up becoming a disempowering belief. And so these beliefs are fluid, they end up changing. And so it's very important to identify them at every stage in our life, okay? And then finally, why was this training so life-changing for you specifically? I'd love to be able to know that. Here are some sentence starters to get you going on here. Remember, this is your opportunity to engage. We and the other students love to hear from you, and we do read all of your comments, and I'm really excited to get your feedback and input regarding this training. And with that being said, I will catch you on the next one.